Okay, what I have here are three books that individually, none of them have anything to do with the other directly. But I felt that the three books made a nice grouping, a nice selection. And so I put the three together. Um, and coincidentally, they all happen to be almost exactly the same size in width and height and thickness, which I thought, well, this is just fate. Um, there are three hardcover books, uh, Federal American History. One is In Memoriam, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The other is Prayers Offered by the Chaplain of the House of Representatives. And the third one includes the full text of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States of America. None of these books have dust jackets. I'm guessing, do not know, they were issued without dust jackets, but I do not know that. At any rate, dust jackets are not present for any of the three volumes. So the first one, In Memoriam, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, late President of the United States. Memorial address delivered before the joint meeting of the two houses of Congress as a tribute of respect to the late President of the United States by Honorable John Gilbert Winnet. Hall of the House of Representatives, July 1st, 1946. This publication is from the 79th Congress, second session, and it is House document number 770, printed by the Government Printing Office in 1948. This volume includes the memorial address, the proceedings in the Senate, the proceedings in the House of Representatives, and a selection of tributes. For me, the tribute section was really the most interesting because of the people who were included. Some of them old friends, some of them old enemies, some of them friends turned enemies turned friends. Pretty much every configuration of world leader that we've dealt with. The tributes include Farouk of Egypt, General de Gaulle of France, Anastasio Somoza of Nicaragua. General Somoza, fairly notorious fellow who we were friends with and enemies with and friends with and back and forth. Francisco Franco of Spain, very notorious fellow. Joseph Stalin, certainly a notorious fellow, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. And Pope Pius XII from the Vatican. The condition on this book, my notes say the cover is solid, as is the binding. Corners are square. The front cover is embossed in gold, some of which has worn away. You can see some of the gold has worn away. Particularly, you can see at the top of the border, some of the gold letter stamping has worn away, but it's largely intact. I have a good picture of this posted. The onion skin paper protecting the portrait is present, and both the portrait and the paper are in very good condition, very good plus. The spine is clean, not creased or cracked. Corners are square. Cover's in pretty cover is shows age. but is in pretty good shape. Here we have the official portrait and the onion skin paper that protects any ink from transferring between the portrait page and the title page. The text block is solid. It's a heavyweight stock. Pages are clean and crisp, no markings. Does have some minor age toning. The text block edges are somewhat dirty from accumulation of dust over a whole lot of years. Probably not stored in the best place. I don't consider it significant, but I do want to mention that the text block edges are a little bit dirty. But the pages are clean, crisp, no markings. Little bit of age toning on the pages, not too much. And that is all of my notes on this volume. The next volume is Prayers Offered by the Chaplain, Reverend Bernard Braskamp, at the opening ceremony of the daily sessions of the House of Representatives of the United States during the 83rd and 84th Congresses, 1953 to 1956. This was printed by the 84th Congress, second session, House document number 473, printed by the United States Government Printing Office in Washington in 1956. And my notes on the condition for this volume: cover is solid, as is binding. Corners are square. Front cover has textured cloth. It's a very nice texture on the cover, and you can see the light will catch. In my notes, I mentioned front cover has textured cloth and double blind stamped border, front and back, letter stamped in gold. And the gold letter stamping is fully present on this volume, and you should be able to see in the video the double blind stamping border goes all the way around there to a little extra decoration. Nice solid spine. The back cover, as you can also see, the double blind stamped decoration there, border. Little bit of corner bump, but really quite good condition, I think. I've noted the text block is solid. This volume has a lightweight stock paper, much lighter than the first volume I showed. But the pages are clean and crisp and no markings. And this goes through the daily prayers offered. For example, Monday, June 6, 1955. O thou who art the source and inspiration of every noble desire, May we now be drawn together in unity of spirit to make the doing of thy will the goal of all our aspirations. I would need to read this a couple of times to orate properly, but you get the idea. The third volume contains the complete text of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States of America. The cover on this is interesting. It's not much to look at, although it's in pretty good shape. The title is stamped, and it is stamped in a gold, and in person you can see it better here than on camera. But even looking right at it, it's very understated, even though it is stamped in gold. The gold is fully present. It's just difficult to read on this cover stock that they've chosen. They've got a quarter binding, on the spine, and then the stock they've chosen is just a very unusual paper. This is interesting because the inside front cover has a paste in. It's pasted in along the top. And my notes on this, this was printed by the Craftsman at Kells, Newark, Delaware, 7th printing. The print year is not stated. Inside front cover has label pasted in. In addition to explanatory text, the label states the First Lions Club of First City of First State, and then that's followed by the Lions Club, Wilmington, Delaware. It's a really interesting label. The book presents the text, and again, the cover is, although I talked about the unusual color of the stock they've chosen, the cover is in quite nice condition. The binding's in quite nice condition. The book presents the text in quite large print, almost as though it was meant to be used for reading out loud and the text would be easy to see. Very large text, very unusual, which I'll show in a moment. This also includes the amendments to the Constitution of the United States of America and appendix giving the dates of adoption or ratification. My notes on the condition: cover is solid, as is binding, corners slightly bumped, a bit of wear to the bottom front corner, a little bit of wear here. Quarter bound with dark pattern paper, front cover letter stamped in gold. Text block is solid, fairly heavy stock. Pages are clean and crisp, no markings. The bottom corners of about a dozen pages gotten pinched at some point, and 2 of those pages have lost their corners on the diagonal, measuring about a half an inch of loss at the corner, point to point. The text block does show age toning on the pages, but acceptable for this volume, in my opinion. So let me go through in general, and then I'll show the pinching and paper loss. Text is quite large. Margins are very large. So it makes me feel that this was intended to be read aloud, and the large text would make it much easier. This is a very interesting presentation of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Now, there are about, as I said, about a dozen pages. Let me find the 1, 2 that are missing here. There are about a dozen pages that got pinched, is the best way I can describe it. I don't know how well the camera is picking it up. There, you're picking it up. 2 of the pages, these 2 right here, 2 of the pages have lost their corner. Pages do social age toning. I'm still going to call the book in good condition, but I want to point out everything I can on all the books, and you can just make your own decision. As with any book, if people don't want them, I'm happy to keep them. Interestingly, all 3 of these books are nearly exactly the same height, width, and thickness. I couldn't believe it when I put them together, and they were a match set. Combined with the subject matter, they make quite a nice cohesive selection, though not directly related. So these are the 3 volumes. I think they make a nice set. Condition isn't wonderful. Condition is good, you know, for the age. And there you go. That's I've taken pretty good pictures. I've given pretty good descriptions. If you'll read that, I've done the best I can with the video. Been as straightforward as I know to be with what I have and what I know about it.